The quantum field sensors in Lab 7 went haywire the moment Thora Winters touched the containment chamber. She yanked her hand back, heart pounding as the readings spiked to impossible levels. After 3 years of studying quantum field manipulation, she'd never seen anything like this. "That's not possible," she whispered, staring at her trembling fingers. The sensors continued their frantic dance, numbers climbing beyond theoretical limits. Something was different today. She could feel it. A subtle vibration just beneath her skin, like the hum of a tuning fork resonating through her entire body. The lab's sterile white walls suddenly felt confining as she tried to process what was happening. She'd run this same experiment countless times before, measuring quantum field interactions with various materials. But today, the moment her skin made contact with the chamber, everything changed. A soft chime from her comm unit broke through her daze. "Dr. Winters, the board is requesting your presence in conference room A." Dr. Harrison's clipped tones carried a note of urgency she'd never heard before. "I'll be right there," Thora responded automatically, though her mind was still racing. Should she report what just happened? The readings defied everything they thought they knew about quantum field interactions. And this sensation, this vibration still coursing through her, it had to be connected. The walk to conference room A gave her time to compose herself. But the vibration persisted. As she approached the glass doors, she noticed unusual activity. Armed security personnel stationed in the corridors, their presence a stark contrast to the Institute's normally peaceful atmosphere. The conference room fell silent as she entered. Director Patel sat at the head of the table, flanked by people she didn't recognize, their crisp military uniforms out of place in the research facility. "Dr. Winters," Director Patel began, his usually warm voice tight with tension, "we've detected some anomalous readings from your lab." Thora's pulse quickened. They already knew. But how? The data hadn't even been uploaded to the main servers yet. "Would you care to explain what happened approximately 17 minutes ago?" One of the military officers leaned forward, his insignia identifying him as General Richards. Before she could respond, the water glass in front of her began to vibrate. The sensation under her skin intensified, and suddenly every electronic device in the room sparked to life. Screens flickering, lights pulsing in sync with her racing heartbeat. "Remarkable," breathed the woman she hadn't noticed before, emerging from the shadows. "The field manifestation is even stronger than we predicted." "Who are you?" Thora demanded, rising from her chair. The vibration was becoming more intense, and she could swear she saw faint lines of energy dancing between her fingers. "Dr. Winters, please remain calm," Director Patel said, but his eyes betrayed fear. "We've been monitoring your quantum field sensitivity for months. Today's incident simply confirmed what we suspected." "Monitoring me? What are you talking about?" The lights in the room grew brighter, responding to her agitation. The woman stepped closer, her eyes alight with scientific fascination. "You're not alone, Dr. Winters. There are others like you, people who can naturally manipulate quantum fields. We've been searching for someone with your level of potential." Thora backed away, her mind reeling. The vibration was nearly overwhelming now, and she could feel something building inside her, a pressure-seeking release. "Don't," General Richards warned, reaching for his weapon. "The facility is surrounded. There's nowhere to go." But he was wrong. As the energy surged through her body, Thora suddenly understood. She could see the quantum fields that permeated everything, could feel how they connected and flowed. More importantly, she could manipulate them. The lights exploded in a shower of sparks as she released the building energy. In that moment of chaos, she felt the quantum fields bend around her, creating a bubble of altered spacetime. The last thing she saw before reality shifted was the look of astonishment on their faces as she literally disappeared before their eyes. She emerged in her lab, the familiar space now feeling alien. The containment chamber that had triggered everything still hummed with residual energy. She had minutes, maybe seconds, before they found her. Grabbing her tablet, she quickly transferred all her research data to a secure drive. Whatever was happening to her, whatever she had become, she couldn't let them control it. The sound of boots in the corridor spurred her into action. The quantum fields were visible to her now, a complex web of energy that connected everything. As the door burst open and armed figures rushed in, she reached out and touched that web, letting the energy flow through her. "Wait," the woman from the conference room called out, but it was too late. Thora Winters, quantum researcher turned quantum anomaly, vanished into the field, leaving behind only a shower of sparking electronics and a room full of stunned observers. In that moment, she knew her life would never be the same. The power awakened inside her was just the beginning. And somewhere out there, others like her were waiting. As she moved through the quantum field, one thought crystallized in her mind. They had been watching her, studying her, preparing for this moment. The question was why? What did they know about people like her? And what were they planning to do with this power? The answers would have to wait. Right now, she needed to disappear, to understand what she had become. But deep down, she knew this was just the beginning of a much larger story, one that would change not just her life, but the very nature of human potential. The Himalayan research facility materialized out of the morning mist like a mirage, its sleek architecture seamlessly integrated into the mountainside. Dr. Raj Varma stood at the observation deck, monitoring the strange energy signatures that had drawn his attention 3 days ago. They were unlike anything he'd recorded in 15 years of studying quantum phenomena. Another spike in the resonance field. "Doctor," his assistant Lyra called from the monitoring station. "Pattern matches the Neo-Pacific incident." Raj's hands moved swiftly across the holographic display, analyzing the data. For months, they'd been tracking these quantum anomalies, people manifesting impossible abilities. But this latest signature was extraordinary. "She's coming here," he murmured, watching the energy patterns shift. "She's learning to navigate the fields faster than any of the others." The facility's warning system activated, detecting an approaching quantum disturbance. Raj remained calm as the air before him began to shimmer and twist. In a flash of blue-white energy, a woman appeared. Thora Winters, the quantum researcher who'd vanished from Neo-Pacific's Institute 3 days ago. She stumbled, clearly exhausted from her quantum jump. Raj caught her arm, stabilizing her. "Impressive navigation, Dr. Winters. Though I suggest not attempting another long-range transit until you've properly trained." Thora jerked away, energy crackling around her defensively. "How do you know my name? Who are you?" "Dr. Raj Varma. And like you, I've been studying quantum field manipulation. Though I must say, you've achieved something remarkable. Direct neural interface with the quantum field itself. The military, the woman in the shadows, they were waiting for this to happen. Why?" Thora demanded, her power fluctuating with her emotions. Raj gestured to the observation deck's view. "Because humanity is evolving, Dr. Winters. What you're experiencing isn't just a scientific breakthrough. It's the next step in human development. And not everyone welcomes such change." He waved his hand, and the facility's lights dimmed. In the darkness, Thora gasped as she saw faint lines of energy connecting everything. The same quantum web she'd been seeing since her awakening. "You can see them too," she whispered. "I was the first," Raj admitted. 10 years ago, during a quantum field experiment gone wrong. Since then, more have emerged, but none with your level of natural ability." The facility's screens activated, showing footage of others manipulating quantum energy, moving objects, transmitting thoughts, even bending space-time in limited ways. "The military calls us quantum sensitives," Raj explained. "They see us as potential weapons, but we're something far more important. We're proof that humanity is ready to take its next evolutionary step." Thora absorbed this, her scientific mind racing with implications. The woman at the Institute, she said there were others. But she wanted to control it, control us. Dr. Diana Cross, Rad's expression darkened. She leads the government's quantum containment initiative. They believe they can harness our abilities through technology, force the evolution of humanity on their terms. And you? What do you want? Raj smiled. To understand. To help others like us learn to control these abilities safely. And ultimately, to ensure this gift helps humanity rather than divides it. Before Thora could respond, Lyra's voice cut through their conversation. Doctor, we have multiple quantum signatures approaching. Military carriers. They tracked me. Thora realized, panic rising. No, Raj's voice was grim. They've always known about this facility. We've just been useful enough to be left alone. Until now. The facility's defenses activated as multiple aircraft appeared through the mist. Raj reached out, his own quantum energy merging with the facility's systems. Dr. Winters, I'm offering you a choice. Stay and help us understand what we're becoming or run. But know that they won't stop hunting you. Thora watched as troops began repelling from the aircraft. Her power hummed beneath her skin, stronger in the presence of another like her. You said I need training. So train me. Raj nodded, a barrier of quantum energy forming around the facility. Lesson 1. Resonance fields. When two or more sensitives combine their abilities, the power grows exponentially. As if to demonstrate, the quantum web around them brightened, energy flowing between them in complex patterns. Thora felt her own power stabilize, matching Raj's frequency. The military wants to weaponize this gift, Raj continued, his voice steady as the troops approached. But what they don't understand is that it's already changing everything. Physics, consciousness, the very fabric of reality. The question isn't whether humanity will evolve, but who will guide that evolution. The facility's quantum barrier pulsed as the first shots were fired. Thora reached out, instinctively strengthening it with her own energy. In that moment of connection, she glimpsed something in Raj's mind. A network of other sensitives, hiding, learning, preparing. Welcome to the real quantum revolution, Dr. Winters, Raj said as their combined power transformed the barrier into a quantum tunnel. Shall we show them what evolution really looks like? The mountain air crackled with energy as two of the world's most powerful quantum sensitives prepared to defend not just themselves, but the future of human potential. And somewhere in the quantum web that connected them all, others felt the power surge and knew. The change they'd been waiting for had finally begun. Deep beneath the streets of London, in a vast chamber shielded by quantum fields, Zena Blake watched the new arrivals through eyes that saw more than just physical light. Thora Winters and Raj Varma shimmered with barely contained power, their quantum signatures intertwining in complex patterns she'd never seen before. Your escape from the Himalayan facility caused quite a stir, Zena said, rising from her crystalline throne. A structure that pulsed with stored quantum energy. Every sensitive in the network felt the surge. You forced Diana Cross to reveal her hand sooner than we anticipated. The underground sanctuary hummed with activity. Dozens of other sensitives moved through the space, each glowing with their unique energy signature. Some manipulated quantum fields to heal injuries. Others practiced long-distance communication through the quantum web, and a few young ones were learning to navigate through space-time. The collective, Thora breathed, taking in the scene. This is what they're afraid of. This is what they want to control, Zena corrected, her silver eyes reflecting the ambient energy. Humanity's next step, packaged and weaponized. But they don't understand. The quantum awakening can't be forced or contained. It spreads through resonance, through connection. Raj stepped forward, his expression troubled. The military's response at the facility was coordinated. They've developed quantum dampening technology. Of course they have. Zena waved her hand, creating a holographic display of global quantum activity. Diana Cross has been studying us for years, but she's working from the outside, trying to replicate through technology what we achieve naturally. The display showed growing clusters of quantum activity worldwide, more sensitives awakening each day. But it also revealed dark spots, areas where the quantum field was being artificially suppressed. "We're not just hiding here," Zena explained, leading them through the sanctuary. "We're building a network, preparing for the moment when humanity has to choose its path forward. The military wants soldiers. Cross wants controlled evolution. We want freedom to become what we're meant to be." They passed a group of children learning to manipulate quantum energy, their laughter echoing as they played with floating lights. "Some are born with the sensitivity now," Zena noted. "The change is accelerating." "But why now?" Thora asked, her scientist's mind still seeking understanding. "What triggered this evolution?" Zena smiled mysteriously. "Perhaps humanity finally reached the right resonance frequency. Or maybe the universe decided we were ready. The real question is, what do we do with this gift?" A young sensitive rushed up to them, panic in her eyes. "Zena, the quantum dampeners, they're activating them across major cities. People are being hurt." The holographic display confirmed it. Quantum dead zones spreading across population centers. Within those zones, newly awakened sensitives would be cut off from their abilities. Vulnerable. "Cross is making her move," Raj growled, forcing people to choose between suppression and her controlled evolution program. Zena's power flared, the quantum web around her shifting in response to her anger. "Then we make our move too. No more hiding. No more waiting." She turned to Thora and Raj. "Your combined resonance field is stronger than anything we've seen. With your help, we could extend our quantum network, create safe passages for awakening sensitives, show humanity there's another way." "It would mean exposing the collective," Raj cautioned. "Everything you've built here." "Look around," Zena gestured to the sanctuary. "This was never meant to be permanent. It's an incubator, preparing us for the moment when humanity has to face its own potential. That moment is now." Thora felt the quantum web pulse with anticipation, as if the very fabric of reality was holding its breath. "You're talking about revolution." "Evolution," Zena corrected. "Natural, uncontrolled, and unstoppable. The only question is whether humanity will embrace it or fear it." The sanctuary's quantum field suddenly fluctuated as multiple breaches were detected in the upper levels. Emergency signals flashed across the holographic display. "They found us," the young sensitive whispered. "No," Zena's voice was calm but firm. "They followed the quantum surge, just as we knew they would. Now they'll learn why suppression isn't the answer." She reached out to Thora and Raj, her power connecting with theirs. The resonance field expanded exponentially, encompassing the entire sanctuary. Through their combined connection, they could feel every sensitive in the complex, their powers linking into a unified quantum network. "The collective isn't just a hiding place," Zena declared as their combined energy began to shift reality itself. "It's a beacon, and it's time to show the world what humanity is becoming." The quantum web blazed with possibility as three of the most powerful sensitives prepared to challenge those who would control evolution itself. The next phase of human development hung in the balance, and the choice would soon belong to everyone. Commander Marcus Vale stood in the control center of the Global Defense Initiative's quantum containment facility, watching the holographic display of spreading quantum activity across London. The readings were unlike anything their systems had recorded. A massive resonance field emanating from beneath the city. "The dampeners aren't working," Dr. Diana Cross announced, her usual composure cracking. "Their combined field is too strong. They're not just resisting suppression. They're actively expanding the quantum web." Marcus studied the patterns, recognizing the tactical implications. After 15 years in military intelligence, he'd learned to trust his instincts. "They're not attacking. This is a demonstration. It's an escalation," Diana countered, activating additional dampening systems. "If we can't contain this, everything we've worked for." "Everything you've worked for," Marcus corrected quietly. "I've seen the data from your evolution program, Diana. The success rate is barely 4%. How many people have been hurt trying to force quantum sensitivity? acceptable losses for the advancement of human potential. You've read the projections. Within a generation, up to 30% of the population could develop these abilities naturally. Uncontrolled, unregulated evolution. The quantum activity surged again, and Marcus felt something he'd been hiding for months, a resonance in his own body, responding to the distant power. He'd first noticed it after the Neo-Pacific incident, but he'd suppressed it, following his duty instead of his instincts. "Launch the quantum disruptors," Diana ordered. "Full spectrum suppression across the city." "That could kill any active sensitives in the radius," Marcus protested, "including civilians just coming into their abilities." Then their evolution wasn't meant to be. Marcus watched the technicians prepare the disruptors, remembering all the times he'd followed orders, trusted the system. But the resonance within him sang a different truth. "Commander Vale," a young lieutenant called out, "we're receiving a transmission. It's broadcasting on all frequencies, quantum and conventional." The screens flickered, and three figures appeared: Thora Winters, Raj Varma, and a silver-eyed woman Marcus didn't recognize. Their combined quantum field was visible even through the video feed. "People of Earth," the silver-eyed woman began, "I am Zena Blake of the Collective. For too long, we have hidden while others tried to control humanity's next step. That ends today." The feed split, showing scenes from around the world. Children manifesting abilities spontaneously, quantum fields forming between family members, communities coming together as their sensitivities awakened. "Evolution cannot be controlled or contained," Raj continued. "It's not a weapon to be harnessed or a resource to be exploited. It's a natural progression of human potential." Thora stepped forward, her scientist's perspective adding weight to her words. "The quantum sensitivity isn't random. It spreads through connection, through resonance between people. The more we try to suppress it, the more it adapts and grows." Diana's face contorted with fury. "Launch the disruptors. Now." Marcus felt his suppressed power surge in response to the broadcast. In that moment of clarity, he made his choice. His quantum energy, hidden for so long, burst forth. The disruptor controls shorted out under his touch. "No more." Diana spun to face him, betrayal and understanding warring in her expression. "You're one of them." "I'm human," Marcus corrected, letting his power flow freely for the first time. "And humanity doesn't need your kind of evolution." The facility's systems went haywire as Marcus's long-suppressed abilities manifested fully. Through the quantum web, he felt the collective's support, their power reaching out to stabilize his awakening. "The choice was never yours to make, Diana," he said as security forces surrounded him. "It belongs to everyone." Outside, the quantum web continued to expand. The collective's demonstration had become a catalyst, triggering awakenings across the globe. Humanity's next step wasn't being guided by military control or scientific manipulation. It was happening naturally, one connection at a time. Diana watched her carefully constructed plans crumble as more of her own personnel began manifesting abilities. "You don't understand what you're unleashing." "No," Marcus agreed, his power linking with the distant collective. "But we'll discover it together, as a species, not as weapons or experiments." The quantum web pulsed with possibility as humanity stood on the brink of unprecedented change. The breaking point had been reached, but it wasn't the catastrophe Diana had feared. It was simply the moment when suppression gave way to acceptance, control yielded to natural growth, and humanity began to embrace its own potential. Through his new connection to the quantum field, Marcus felt the truth of Zena's words. Evolution couldn't be controlled or contained. It could only be experienced, one awakening at a time, as humanity stepped forward into a future bright with quantum possibility. The quantum web spanning Earth pulsed with unprecedented power as millions of people experienced their first resonance. From the collective sanctuary beneath London, Thora Winters watched the holographic display of humanity's awakening with a mixture of awe and apprehension. "It's happening faster than even we predicted," Raj observed, his own quantum field harmonizing with the growing global network. The resonance is self-sustaining now. Zena Blake stood at the center of their quantum link, her silver eyes reflecting the streams of data. Commander Vale's defection was the key. Once people saw that even those trained to suppress evolution could embrace it, a new quantum signature appeared in their sanctuary as Marcus Vale materialized, still wearing his military uniform. Diana's lost control of the containment facilities. The dampeners are down worldwide. The quantum web surged again as another wave of awakenings swept the globe. Through their connected consciousness, they felt each new mind joining the field. Doctors suddenly able to see quantum patterns in their patients, teachers resonating with their students' emotions, artists perceiving new dimensions of creativity. Not everyone is manifesting the same abilities. Thora noted, analyzing the patterns. It's expressing differently based on individual potential. As it should, Zena smiled. True evolution embraces diversity. Unlike Diana's controlled program, natural quantum sensitivity adapts to each person's unique resonance. But their victory celebration was premature. Warning signals flashed across their displays as multiple quantum disturbances appeared worldwide. Diana, Marcus growled. She's activated the failed subjects from her evolution program, people whose sensitivity was artificially forced. The holographic map showed chaotic energy signatures spreading from military installations, unstable sensitives whose powers had been weaponized through Cross's experiments. Their quantum fields are destabilizing, Raj warned. Without natural resonance to ground them, they'll tear reality apart. Thora finished, her scientific mind racing ahead to the consequences. The quantum web itself could collapse. Zena's expression hardened with determination. Then we show them another way, not through control or force, but through connection. She reached out to the others, their powers linking into a unified field. Through their combined consciousness, they'd broadcast a message to every awakened sensitive on Earth. The quantum web isn't just power. Zena's thoughts echoed through the network. It's understanding, empathy, the ability to feel the connections that have always existed between us. Around the world, natural sensitives began reaching out to their unstable counterparts. Parents connected with children, friends with friends, strangers with strangers. Each stable resonance field helping to anchor those whose evolution had been forced. Through their shared perception, they witnessed countless moments of transformation. A mother's quantum field stabilizing her daughter's chaotic energy. A teacher helping his entire class channel their newfound sensitivity. First responders using their abilities to rescue those overwhelmed by the change. Diana never understood. Marcus said softly, "Evolution isn't about creating perfect weapons or controlled advancement. It's about becoming more completely human." The quantum web hummed with collective purpose as humanity began to understand its new potential. Natural resonance fields formed between communities, then cities, then entire regions, not through central control, but through organic connection. In her secured facility, Diana Cross watched her vision of controlled evolution dissolve. The very weapons she'd created were being transformed by the power of human connection. "It's beautiful," Thora whispered, watching the quantum web stabilize into new patterns. Every connection unique, every resonance adding to the whole. "This is just the beginning," Raj reminded them. "Humanity will need guidance, understanding. But not control," Zena added firmly. "We show the way by example, not force." Through their linked consciousness, they felt the truth of her words. The collective would evolve too, becoming not a hidden sanctuary, but a center for learning and growth. Those who had hidden their gifts would help others understand their own awakening potential. The quantum web pulsed one final time as the last unstable fields were harmonized. Humanity hadn't just survived its evolutionary leap, it had transformed it through the very connections that made it human. "Touch if you dare," Thora quoted the warning that had started her own journey, smiling at its new meaning. "Not everyone can handle this power. But together," Marcus added, "we can handle anything." The sanctuary hummed with possibility as the four of them looked out at a world forever changed. Evolution hadn't come through military might or scientific control, but through humanity's greatest strength, its ability to connect, to empathize, to grow together. The power they had discovered wasn't just in quantum manipulation or spectacular abilities. It was in the simple truth that had guided natural evolution for millennia. Adaptation comes through cooperation, growth through connection, and the future belongs to those willing to reach out and touch it, daring to become more than they ever imagined possible.